Welcome to the Cockpit. My name's Ryan and I'll be your pilot tonight. I am so looking forward to you guys and all your questions that we will be going through about free agency. That intro. Oh, Bear, it looks so good. My buddy Rory made it for me. Oh, I love it. It came out so nice. All right. Guys, we're going to do this the same way we do it every week. We are going to do call-ins starting at 8:30, and I want to hear all your thoughts on all of these Jets free agent signings. Now, I will do a little bit of a monologue. I will tell you exactly how I'm feeling about all the free agent signings, and then you guys can kind of bounce that back at me. You don't have to agree with me. This is all about discussion, figuring out exactly what we like and don't like about these players. But before we do that, we have to pay some bills. NFL draft season is upon us. It's possible that you might have Trevor Lawrence's haircut in your pants. That's why our partners at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, have partnered with us to make sure you don't gamble on shaving your balls the same way you like to gamble on football. For all my draft geeks out there, we have an exclusive 20% off promo code JETSTALK for 20% off at manscaped.com and free shipping. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Let's go a little bit through our free agent signings. First up, let's talk about, I guess the first one we got. We got Gerard Davis. I wasn't like overly crazy about this signing. I was like, oh man, I'm waiting to get Tooney. I'm waiting to get Lindsley. All these different players, these big names, Galladay. Robinson obviously didn't hit free agency or anything, but I'm all excited. And then Gerard Davis drops in. I'm like, not what I was looking for. Little anticlimactic. But with Mosley being a big question mark and a whole new defense, we're going to need some linebackers that fit the scheme. And with Robert Saleh being a former linebackers coach, I have no doubt that he is picking someone that we can be confident in. I like this. I like this move a lot. It's not a crazy ton of money, but definitely starter level money at, 1 year, $7 million. Next up, we got Corey Davis at the end of day one. Big fan of this move. I think this was a really smart signing. Former 5th overall pick in the 2017 draft. The Jets, I think, are getting a better valued player, and really all their receivers. Jets by Jimmy and I just did a little stream together that he's going to be throwing up on his channel, and he will be actually live with us tomorrow on Talking Jets. But we were talking about how Corey Davis and Keelan Cole are both really good at contested catches and really sneaky good as far as wide receiver acquisitions and bang for your buck type mentality. Like, just think about this. The Jets got Corey Davis for $12.5 million. The Jets got Keelan Cole for, $5.5 million? The Patriots signed Nelson Aguilar for like $12 million. Like, you can't tell me that Patriot fans aren't like a little frustrated right now with getting that receiver at that price. He has one good year in Las Vegas. And then all of a sudden, bunch of money. Forget that. Forget that ish. So I'm happy with both receiver signings. Corey Davis and Keelan Cole, I think both are top in contested catches. I think that's going to come a long way, especially with potentially a rookie quarterback or a quarterback that's had some accuracy issues in Sam. I love it. Love it. Both these guys are not afraid to stick their nose in on a block. I see Jeff Lucas making that comment down in the chat. Good run blocker. We got Carl Lawson. I am so excited for Carl Lawson, especially him and Sheldon Rankins. Words. Lawson and Rankins. Very, very excited. I think this defensive line is getting stronger and stronger. I don't know if the Rankins signing might move like a John Franklin Myers, maybe to the outside. I've heard some good grades from him and positive things in terms of his edge rushing ability, believe it or not. I believe it was Michael Nania that had posted it. So I would be interested to see what happens. I think we're probably going to draft another edge rusher to go along with this defensive line, but Saleh does not blitz like, how we've seen in the past from some of our previous head coaches, Rex especially. He uses his front four to get after you, and I like that a lot. I think it gives you more. You got to worry about the pass in the NFL. That's really the biggest thing. So if you can get after the quarterback with your front four, and you can drop more guys into coverage to help prevent some of the bigger plays, some of those yak games or yak receptions, 100%. Good move. These guys are all tops in pressure. Lots of really good numbers. Let me actually pull it up. I had a little thing here before. I meant to pull it up before I went live, and I done screwed up. Where is it? I had the stats. I rattled it off if you guys watched my most recent video. But yeah, okay. So pressures per game. Quinnen Williams last year. He was 13th overall for interior defensive linemen. From week 7 on, he was 3rd in the NFL. John Franklin Myers last year, 8th overall in terms of pressures from the interior defensive line. Carl Lawson, 6th among edge rushers last year. Sheldon Rankins, 18th overall over the course of the last 3 years. And you got to remember, too, he tore his Achilles in like January of 2019. And for him to come back, I believe he started the season. I think he started in September. So you got to think the 2019 season is kind of a throwaway year for him. He's trying to get back from that Achilles injury. So I'm not too worried about any sort of down production that you may see there. I'm happy. I'm happy with how this free agency period's going. LaMarcus Joyner coming back on a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. The fact that he had such better grades as a safety compared to what he has had to do in Las Vegas with the Raiders. They had him playing nickel. Lots of lining up in the slot. In his career, he is a 51 overall in the box. In the slot, he is a 61.3. And when played at free safety, he is a 90.1. That is something that is really exciting for the New York Jets. And I know he's a little bit older. He's like 29, 30 years old, whatever his actual age is. But free safety is one of those positions that you can actually move down. Like if you're a cornerback and you slide back to free safety, all of a sudden your career extends. That's something that Richard Sherman has talked about doing, going from cornerback to free safety, so that way he can extend his career, make more money, be more productive. If you can get, let's say, a solid Pro Football Focus grade of like 80 out of this guy, that's a home run signing for $4.5 million. We're going to have 3 safeties out there at times. I don't think this is an indictment on Ashton Davis or Marcus May at all. We only have those 2 guys on the roster for safety help, so we needed this addition regardless. Justin Hardy, I think, was a really good pickup in terms of special teams. I think Boyer has got to be happy between him and Keelan Cole. Those 2 guys can definitely contribute right away in special teams. He's one of the top gunners in the NFL. We no longer need Braden Mann to be stopping punt returners and saving touchdowns. The Jets were one of the worst teams in terms of returned punt average. I'm pretty sure it was bottom 6. I didn't look it up since I made my video. But I'm pretty sure it was like bottom 6. They were bottom 11 in return yards, but I think they finished at like 6th. It was really, really awful. So I'm excited about that signing. That guy seems like he's got a lot of heart, too. I really enjoyed some of the Twitter videos that I saw of him. Tyler Kroft. I have a few Buffalo Bills fans and friends. This guy's a third tight end. He's not replacing Griffin. He's not replacing Herndon. But he's a body. You got to have some depth. And I think that's okay. Dan Feeney, 1 year, $3.5 million. That feels like a replacement for Pat Elflein. Not a huge deal or huge commitment, I guess. You just need a little bit of depth on that offensive line. Now maybe you have him, Van Roten, Clark compete for that starting spot. I don't expect him to get it, but compete nonetheless. I would like to draft our other starter since we were unable to get a really elite or a really above average guy in free agency. But that's just it. Jimmy and I were talking. We were saying, hey, Joe Douglas is quietly having a very good free agent, period. And a lot of people are going to give him hell. They're like, oh, he's falling asleep at the wheel. He's not signing the big names. Like, how are we better than, we were last year? And the answer is we may not be better than we were last year. I mean, that's just the way the ball bounces, unfortunately. But I do like the way that he wants to build this team. He has told us multiple times he wants to build through the draft. So you plug holes in free agency. You don't overspend, because when you bring guys off other teams and you overpay them, they fit well in their previous system. There's no guarantee that they are going to fit in well with this new system. And that's like that with every free agent. It's not necessarily, just a Jet-related thing. So, good GMs. They draft well. They retain good players. Signing these one-year contracts allows you the opportunity to get compensation picks for guys that are hungry to get their second contract. Not to mention, there is no dead money on any of these deals. So you have Tyler Kroft for a year. You have Dan Feeney for a year. You have Keelan Cole for a year. You have LaMarcus Joyner for a year. After this year, all that money's off the books. That is what is so huge about this. Just realize, this past year, I think the Jets had, I want to say it was like $15 or $17 million in dead cap. You're basically saying you could have had like basically 1 year of Kenny Golladay, but you couldn't because you wasted your money in free agency, signed a bad contract, and had to cut guys. So now you have this dead cap. You're not playing a game with your entire arsenal of money. You want to be able to have the most money allocated to the players that are on your team currently. You don't want to have dead cap. Dead cap is never a good thing. That's why the Eagles and, some of the teams that are trading big-time quarterbacks are dealing with such ramifications. It's because they got $30 million in dead cap. That's banana land. That is banana land, as O'Leary would say. So that's just my thoughts on free agency. I don't think I may have missed one or two guys in there, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. I like that we're going with younger guys too. These are guys that could grow. If they play well with our team in 1 year, now you have the ability to bring them back. We gave them the opportunity this year, so bringing them back, they're more likely to re-sign with us rather than uprooting their family and moving to another city right after. I'm a fan. You guys are saying we have like $50 million in cap space. I actually don't know what we have in cap space. So let me go over the cap. Over the cap. New York Jets. What are we playing with right now? Okay, so right now, from what I'm looking at, the Jets have $30 million in cap space. That does take into account Carl Lawson, Corey Davis, Dan Feeney, LaMarcus Joyner, Justin Hardy, Jared Davis. I don't know if Cole may not be on here yet. Yeah, I don't think Cole's on here yet. Unless I'm just missing him. I think there's a few contracts that we're missing from here. But the Jets are sitting somewhere around $25 to $30 million. So what are we going to do? Well, I would just sit on it. You don't have to spend all your money. You can roll it over. So if you don't think you're going to have guys that are going to make an impact on your team this year, don't spend the money. Don't spend the money. We do still have to move on from guys. Alex Lewis, if we want to move on from him, we could save $5 million there. Obviously, the Crowder thing, if you wanted to move on from him, you could, in theory, do that. I just really like where this team's headed. I like the outlook that they're taking. I don't know if you guys saw this. The Jacksonville Jaguars, over the course of their season, I guess, or since 2011, they have signed over $1.4 billion worth of free agents. Billion with a B. $1.4 billion worth of free agents. They have lost 75% of their games. You don't win free agency. You don't win games in the NFL by winning free agency. You win games by drafting well, by developing players, by signing smart free agent signings. So for all you guys that get frustrated with Joe Douglas, just give it a breath. There's no reason to get crazy. You could absolutely have a good season. Not to mention, let's say we go to a 17-game schedule next year. We have an easier schedule. Let's do this. The Jets were a Hail Mary against the Raiders and a long field goal against the Patriots from being 4-12 with the hardest schedule in the NFL, the worst coaching situation in the NFL, and the 32nd ranked quarterback in the NFL. You're telling me this year we can't do better? For all you naysayers down there, I've seen you. I've seen you in the comments. I know who you are. The Jets are going to have, at the very least, better coaching, an easier schedule, a bunch of talent added in free agency, and a bunch of high draft picks taken in the draft. Mims is going to have a full training camp. Becton's going to have a full training camp, be able to actually, develop a little bit, get some type of chemistry with his quarterback. That's one of the issues that we had with Sam Darnold last year is because, no chemistry. He could have used a preseason probably more than just about anyone. So you look at all that. You say you're getting better head coach. You're going to get better quarterback play than 32 overall, even with a rookie, I think. I don't think you're getting the 32nd ranked quarterback play next year. Could be wrong. Rookie could be terrible. Who knows? As long as we win, I'm going to say if we could win 6 games with us trending up at the end of the year, I'd be okay with it. 7, I think, is probably the benchmark. That's where I'd like to be. That's where I hope we're going to be. But you just need a lot of things to click. I think this team is a lot better than what we have seen the last few years with Adam Gase. I think it's deceptive how bad we were. And I think the rest of the NFL is going to see that. I really do. John Perez, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, Jesus, Kyle Pitts ran a 4.46 40-yard dash. Going to be hard to think about trading down and grabbing him. I do not really love the idea of trading down and taking Pitts. If they don't love Wilson or Fields and they're sold on Sam Darnold, that's fine. You can trade down and get Pitts. I have no problem with that. That is stupid fast. that is quick for a tight end. He's huge too. He's like, what is he, 6'6"? I think he's pretty big. I would say I still think the pick's got to be quarterback at 2. I think it just makes sense based on the contract lengths of Douglas and Saleh. They're both on 5-year deals. You bring in a rookie quarterback, they're on a 5-year deal as well. Guys, we have just about 300 people in this stream. I'd like you to drop a like if you enjoy watching the videos I make. If you enjoy sitting in here and watching the live streams, it goes a long way. It helps people that decide to tune in later on, maybe after the stream has aired, to maybe encourage them to come into a future stream. And it helps build our Jet fan community. I would say the Jet community on YouTube has got to be one of the strongest batch of content creators around. The Giants have some pretty good ones. The Entertainer and Bad Dog are both pretty good. But you look around the league. I've tried looking for other teams' YouTubers. There's not a whole heck of a lot of them. And Jet fans, we're lucky. We do have a lot of really good YouTubers. I really enjoy this. I think our boy Jet Central, I think he's getting pretty close to 20,000. He's getting pretty close. He's right up there. The GOAT. He's, I'm trying. I'm trying to catch up. It's not happening. Not happening. John Nolte says Deshaun Watson now has 13 accusers. That should scare away suitors. I think it's 22. I think it's 22 suitors. That's what I had heard last time. Wow, Justin Crazy. Holy smokes. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'll throw yours up on the screen as soon as it pops through. I don't want to shortchange you there. So I will absolutely get to your question, but I want to get to it while I can actually show it on the screen. So thank you so much for the super chat. That's awesome. That is really cool. Let's see. Adam says, looks like your subs went up a lot. It always goes up around free agency. Free agency tends to be a little bit more of a hot time for the Jets because we haven't really had a good actual season, which is really where we run into a lot of issues as Jet content creators. Peter says, why don't you collab with Jet Central? I would love to collab with Jet Central. I really would. I can't pronounce the name underneath you. But he says, do you have any relationship with Jet Central? We did a collaboration before the Sam Darnold draft. We talked a little bit about the quarterbacks, and we posted that. But I've tried getting him on the Talking Jets panel. I really do. I like him a lot. He's a good dude. And he knows his stuff, too, which is why I think it would be fun to have him on. But he doesn't seem to really love collabing too often. He does a few things with UCF Jaguar. But that's really all I get to see of it. NY Sports MC, what's up, dude? Nice to see you in the chat. Let's see. I think I could put your comment up now, Justin. Pretty sure it pulled through. There it is. Okay. Justin says, you, the GM, who are you drafting at 2 and 23? So for me, I am taking Zach Wilson at 2. I think that is the right pick to make. If you do want to go with Fields, I have no problem with it. I think the guy's got incredible arm strength, and I think he's getting a lot more, crap than he really deserves to. I think he's been a really good quarterback. I think he's a 6'3" version of Russell Wilson. I think he's got that type of shifty balance in the pocket. It's hard to take him down. But I would take Wilson. I think Wilson fits the mold of like a more athletic version of Matt Ryan, a more athletic version of Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think that's probably the route I see the Jets going. Now, that said, if the Jets are offered like a monster haul for 2, like if say the Panthers are like, hey, we'll give you 1, 2, 3 this year, 1, 2, 3 next year, and you want to see what you have in Sam, I could understand wanting to run it back. I could get it. It depends how high of a grade you have on Wilson versus how high of a grade you have on Sam, and how much risk you're willing to take. There is a lot of risk when you decide to move on from your quarterback, or not move on from your quarterback and pass on a franchise quarterback potentially. So I'm really only good with rolling with Sam if they think it's not a franchise quarterback in Wilson or Fields. At number 23, based on how free agency has gone so far, I would say I want... It depends who's there. It depends how the cookies crumble, how the chips fall. Because I really like J.C. Horn. If J.C. Horn somehow makes it to 23, I would make that pick. And then I would wait to take guard until 34. Maybe a Wyatt Davis, maybe a Creed Humphrey, someone in the second round-ish range. Remember, if you're going to trade Sam, think you get a second-round pick. I think that's about what you get for him. If you don't, I think they could run it back with him, like as a backup, and then maybe trade him once the preseason's around if someone gets hurt. I could see them doing that with Joe Douglas, having done that already with Sam Bradford on the Eagles when they traded him for traded him to the Vikings when Teddy Bridgewater went down. So I could see that. But at 23, I would say J.C. Horn would be my top guy, I think, in terms of really needed position. Now, maybe if someone like Elijah Vera Tucker falls, I could get on board with that. It's someone who should be going a lot higher that is falling down. I could understand people wanting to roll with that. Edge rusher, I do want an edge rusher, but I think there's a few guys like a Carlos Basham and Patrick Jones that you could get maybe with like a Sam Darnold trade if you get a second-round pick. That's probably where I'd want to go edge rusher at that point. I don't know if there's one in the first round that I love. Maybe Joe Tryon at 34, because this is a pretty deep guard draft. If they think they have someone in like Clark, or they think they can, target someone in the second or third round beyond what we're kind of projecting right now, I'd be okay with that. But I do think guard is such a major need. I would feel really, really worried to go into this draft passing on like good guards that could be available at 23 and 34. I think they're more important than cornerback right now, just because if you can generate enough pressure with the edge rushers, your cornerbacks will look better. I think Bryce Hall is going to take another big step forward. I don't trust Bless Austin at all. So yeah, gun to my head, if you're asking me, I'm the GM, who am I taking? I'm taking Wilson at 2. I'm taking J.C. Horn at 23. Final answer. With guard being, the one flipping point. Those would be like the 3 players, or 3 positions maybe, that I would want to go: quarterback, cornerback, and guard. Let's see. Vinny says, open your wallet for a vet guard, Joe Douglas, then draft one at 23. I could get on board with this. I don't know who's available to trade for, or if there's someone still out there that's worthy of a starting position. Jay in the chat. What's up, dude? Jay, my good Lions friend. If you haven't followed Jay on Let's Talk Lions, he's in the chat. I just made his name blue so you can comment again so you can see him. He says about Jared Davis, really bummed we let Jared Davis go. I think he will be a stud for you under Saleh. That is huge. That's something I really, really like to see, because I think that Saleh being a former linebackers coach and pulling in a linebacker day one, like the first free agent they brought in, those are the type of guys I think you have to keep an eye out for. I'm excited. Jay, I got to get you on here at some point so we could talk about Jared Davis. And we could talk about all your free agency signings. You guys got Brashad Perriman. I could give you a little insight on him and how I feel about that. The Jets are being sneaky with some of the stuff that we're seeing. They have taken a lot of first-year, like one-year contracts, and they have also gone out of their way to sign guys that are kind of, how should I say this? They were cut from their teams or maybe released from their teams. I think you've seen a few of them. I have to go through and actually see which one it is before I start blowing too much smoke. But from what I've seen, the Jets are looking all right in terms of, like, if they wanted to have a comp pick formula. It's not going to happen this year because I do think we're going to sign too many free agents to allow it to happen. But having Jordan Jenkins, move on, having Perriman move on, Elfline move on. God, who else do we got? There's probably some other guys that I'm just like, I think, did Flacco get a contract with the 49ers? I don't know if he did. I know he was like practicing with them or interviewing with them or whatever. Yeah. Justin Crazy says, I will quote you on that, and if you get it right, I will do something. All right, that's fair. I would be pretty surprised, I think, if J.C. Horn makes it to 23, Justin. I would like that's the guy I really do like. I think his zone play is going to work well in a solid defense based on how Sherman has played with the 49ers. What am I getting? Oh, I'm getting phone calls already. Oh, geez, it's 8:30. That's why. See? I have Google open and I don't even have it. All right, let's see. Let me pull this away. And I will pull, where's this banner? Pull the banner away. And then where's the phone number? Which one's the phone number? I think this one's the phone number. Bam! Phone number's on the screen. Give me a quick second to get Google Voice open. So that way you guys can tell me exactly what you're thinking about our free agency class. Where does it sit with you guys? Give me a grade. I want to hear each one of you guys. A, B, C, D, F. You can throw an E in there if you want.
Call from
Moses from Yonkers.
Moses, what's up, dude? Welcome to the Cockpit.
How you doing, Ryan? How are things?
Oh, not too bad. I'm enjoying watching, the limited moves in free agency. I don't think, it's a little disappointing maybe that we're not getting some of the big names, but I think we're having a sneaky, quiet, good free agency period. What are you feeling?
I agree, too. I feel like, we could have made some splashier moves, but we've done that before and hasn't really gone our way. I guess we got to, trust what Joe is doing. But I got a question.
Sure,
I'm big on sticking with Sam. I know you're not. So my question to you is, if the best offer we got for Sam Darnold was a third-round pick from the Patriots, do you take it?
No, I would not. I would run it. Not that I would run it back with Sam at that point, but I think I would hold on to Sam at the very least until preseason. Kind of like how we think of it, like the Teddy Bridgewater thing, where we signed Teddy Bridgewater. We knew we were trading up for Sam. We knew we were going to try and recoup some draft capital from trading Teddy after making him look good in the preseason. So that's basically what I would try to do with Sam. I would try to give him very simple plays, very, I don't know if I'd necessarily have him go against, say, the backups, but you want him to look the part of a good quarterback. If he plays well and you want to hold on to him, I'm all for it. I'm not against it at all. I really, really like Sam Darnold. My biggest reason for not wanting to go with him is just because if you pass on the quarterback and Sam plays to that 7-9, 8-8 type level, does that like make you want to sign him for $30 million a year? I don't know if that's it for me. And now at that point, you are so far down the draft board, it's going to be hard to get back up because figure you're trading down, you have 3 first-round picks next year. Then you have to give up at least 2 of those to go up and get a quarterback if that team's willing to trade out. So I wouldn't trade him to the Patriots, but if I'm good with, or I shouldn't say if I'm good. The only way I'm rolling with Sam is if Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh decide that Zach Wilson and Justin Fields and Trey Lance are not franchise quarterbacks. If that's the grade that they have on them, by all means run it back with Sam, because I think Sam succeeding is by far the fastest way this team can turn around. You surround him with as much talent as possible. You influx more talent from all those trade downs that you wind up doing. And then now Sam has no excuse. The team is built for the next quarterback. That's exactly what I wanted the Jets to do, had the Jets wound up at like 6-10, 7-9. But that's not how it happened. We're just in the position of number 2 right now, and we've seen how Sam has played the last 2 years, and that's really why I don't want to roll with Sam. It's not that I don't like him or that I don't hope that he does well elsewhere. I just think that we've been put in a very tough situation because of the Jets' incompetence.
Right. I've also seen some things that people are saying Joe Douglas might be in the hot seat if Zach Wilson comes out and does very well. But who's to say we don't trade down for get a first round pick, a couple, other mid round picks, then trade back to 8, get another first, a couple more, mid round picks, draft picks, make the team, ready as if we have our starting quarterback, build the team up, and if Sam's not the guy, somebody might want to come play for us. We're seeing now that a lot of quarterbacks are voicing their opinions. They want to go play for a contender. If Sam's not the guy, we can build a contender with everything we get for the second-round pick. So my question, I guess, would be, would it really be the worst thing in the world if we build the team first?
No, not at all. I think that's actually a really good point because the Texans, the Chiefs, they both traded up to go get their quarterback. The Ravens traded up to get Lamar Jackson. Now, they needed a little bit more building, but there's teams that are building their team, and then they go up and get their quarterback. There's a lot of top quarterbacks that get drafted to the worst team in the league, and they wind up not playing well. Sam Darnold, one of them. I'll say this. If the Jets were to trade down, the best thing that could possibly happen, you trade down from 2 to 4, from 4 to 8. You get now 4 first-round picks next year. Now, all of a sudden, Deshaun Watson sits out. You're halfway through the season. You have the most draft capital to go get him. So you can run it back with Sam with the fallback being like you might have a shot at Deshaun Watson. And then if you decide you don't want Deshaun Watson and Sam is not the quarterback of the future, you have 4 first-round picks to control the draft. And maybe that attracts a free agent quarterback, someone that's out on the market. Who knows? It's not the worst.
That's what I was thinking of. Tom Brady just up and decided that Tampa Bay looked good for him, and
Boom! You're out of here! You've been ejected from the cockpit. Thank you so much. That was a really good string of questions there. Really good thought process.
Call from
Joe.
Joe, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
Not too bad. I'm hanging in there. Good to hear from you again. What's on your mind? How you feeling about free agency?
I have to give an overall grade a B.
Okay.
Before we get to that, I don't agree with your previous caller. I think if you don't draft Zach Wilson at the number 2 spot, I think it's going to be a big, regretful mistake. I think this kid's the real deal, and like I told you last time, I think he's going to be better than Trevor Lawrence. But that being said, I have to give an overall grade a B, and I think the best free agency signing we did there was Lawson. Reminds me a little bit of Quentin Williams.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think the excitement around Lawson is not as high as it should be. Like this guy's really good. We spent a lot of money to get him, but I think it's good. He winds up being, I think, the 17th highest paid edge rusher. So when I say a lot, it's maybe not a lot, but maybe for like the amount of sacks he had, it's a lot. I'm looking forward to that. I think you gave it a grade of a B overall, the free agency class.
Yeah, I did. I mean, he got about, 5.5 sacks, I think. But I think he's going to get about 8.5 to 9.
Yeah. I think he could be a 10-sack guy with Quinn. Sure.
I also liked for honorable mention, I like Joyner. I think that was a good signing. As a free safety, though, not a cornerback.
Sure, absolutely. I really like it because it's a $4.5 million signing. We needed safety help. The dude's been elite as a safety. Like, why did the Raiders play him at cornerback? Makes no sense.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry I cut you off before.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I'm looking forward to Wilson. I'm kind of there with you. I don't necessarily grade him higher than Trevor Lawrence, but I think Trevor Lawrence going number 1 overall with Urban Meyer in Jacksonville is going to have far more pressure than Zach Wilson going number 2 to the Jets with Robert Saleh. I think. I mean, there's going to be a lot of eyes on him. Like the New York media is going to be grilling this kid, but I think he's got the personality to be a New York quarterback. I think the media is just going to fall in love with him. He's a good-looking kid. Him or Fields. I could see Fields like absolutely lighting up New York. I could see him really fitting well here. I just don't know if the whole slow processing or, not as fast as Wilson. Watching Wilson throw the passes he threw the other day on that Twitter video, I want to say it was his dad that retweeted it. Incredible. Just dropping dimes from like 50 yards out.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like I said, the overall grade, a B. I think Lawson was the best signing. I think honorable mention was Joyner, and I think we should draft Wilson. But also, I was thinking that they missed out on, in my opinion, trying to get a center, Lindsley, from the Green Bay Packers. I thought we should have got him, man, and get rid of McGovern. I don't even want him for a guard, and we would have got some, cap space for, more free agency money.
Yeah, there's part of me that really wanted a guard or a center. A guard more so than a center. But I think us not going after Lindsley is more an indication to Joe Douglas, or for us from Joe Douglas, that he trusts McGovern going forward as a center.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's necessarily ready to move him over to guard. I think if you give McGovern the benefit of the doubt from not having a preseason last year, not having a full complement of offensive linemen, I felt like they were rotating around the entire beginning of the season. He really came on in the second half of the year, and I think that's probably the exciting part for McGovern.
Yep. Something off a football topic. I know you have like a shop on, like, you sell clothing and memorabilia.
Sure.
Ryan, I thought a good idea. You should sell a shirt with a Cockpit logo and another shirt. You see your background, Ryan, with that Jets neon green?
Ooh.
You should have that on a black shirt with Jets 24/7.
With it like kind of like radiating out like that would be kind of cool. Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna put my noggin to work on that and see if I can figure out how to do it. That's a really good idea.
Cockpit shirt, man.
I was gonna say I got my regular to like 24/7 shirt, but I gotta get a like Cockpit, like maybe the chicken flying across the back or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
I like that.
Man,
that's a good thought.
Night.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for the call. I enjoy the grades. I completely agree with your assessment of the free agency period. And thank you so much for calling in. You've been ejected from the Cockpit. Oh, God, I just love the chicken. The chicken's really like such a great part. I got to implement maybe a little bit better chicken action. Maybe there's another thing I could do with the chicken other than launching him across the screen. Maybe I could have the chicken pop up and like do a notification or something. Chicken Inc. Ooh, yeah, that could be a shirt line, Robbie Oak. Chicken Inc. I have a shirt. This guy I know, he owns a t-shirt company, and it's called Rooster Tees. Rooster Tees. Do you get it? If you get it, drop a comment in the chat. I won't say it, but if you get it, say it. Affirm says launch a jet across the screen. Steven says put him in a pot pie. Richie says a rooster. Yes, it's Rooster Tees. So I'll give you guys... I'm curious to see if anyone can come up with why that's an interesting name. Robbie says he gets it. I'll believe you if you post it. If I see it come up on the screen. Guys, make sure you drop a like on this video if you're enjoying the live stream. Or if you just want to see the Jets win a few games this year. I love it. I don't think anyone's got it. What did I say? My buddy owns a t-shirt company. The t-shirt company is called Rooster Tees. Why is that name funny? If you can come up with an idea. Why it is. Someone's going to come up with it. I didn't think of it right away. I have a shirt for it. I should wear the shirt on stream one time. Because that would be kind of fun. Rotisserie. That's pretty funny. That's not it, though. Rooster teeth. Nope, that's not it. Do a t-shirt looking into a cockpit with Ryan as a pilot. Jets Talk 24/7 logo in the background. Ooh, John, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Call from
I have a shirt.
Vinny.
Wear the shirt on stream one time. Vinny, what's good, brother? How you doing tonight?
Yo, good. What's up?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. Hanging in there. How are you feeling about free agency so far?
Good, you know. Just listening to some Robert Johnson.
Oh, Robbie got it in the chat. Sorry, I got excited. He's got it. All right.
So,
Paying attention now.
you know,
It was
I've
the
been
name.
good. You know, free agency was the 2nd most exciting thing to happen for me this last few weeks.
Ooh. So what was the first most exciting thing?
The Snyder cut.
Ooh, okay. Now, ask me this. What do you think about the free agency period? Who's your top free agent that we've gotten so far?
It's probably a two-way tie between Lawson and what was the wide receiver from the Titans?
Corey Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Those are the two most exciting. I think the Keelan Cole signing is going to be a sneaky good one. Same with the Marcus Joyner. I think the two of them have the ability. Dude, even Rankins. Rankins is a little bit more expensive, so maybe I won't give that maybe as high of a grade or as high of like a excitement thing. This D-line is going to be exciting, though. It's really going to be awesome.
No, this is good. Like, I don't get why people are freaking out. It's like, you know, for the Jets have been spending big money in free agency since this came into inception, and all it's ever done is blow up in our face outside of a handful of years, like the late 2000s and 2015. And even then, it was in the short term. Long term, we got screwed. So it's like, this is like the Jets fans freaking out over not spending big money in free agency is like Germany freaking out if they invaded Russia and didn't march on Moscow in the winter.
Dude, are you upset at all that the Jets... Well, I guess not, because you were saying the Jets have always spent big money in free agency. But is there a player that you wish the Jets could have signed that they didn't sign, and you're looking at the contract and you're saying, man, could have had that one?
Not really. The Jets, I think, were smart, you know, because the thing is, and I've said this before in multiple Jets talk shows and stuff, is that in order for the Jets to be able to get good free agents, is they have to establish a nucleus, you know, a young core group of established, proven players before you can sign free agents, because otherwise, the only way you can sign free agents is just throw gobs and gobs of money at them, and, you know, that's burnt us in the past. That's why you saw Corey Lindsey go to the Chargers. That's why you saw Joe Thuney go to the Chiefs. They're established teams, and they have that core that attracts free agents at fair prices.
Yeah, Dude, that's just it. If you can draft well and you can re-sign your own guys and guys want to come play for you, you're not overpaying. You're not paying the quote-unquote jet tax. And I think Joe Douglas allowed free agents to kind of, come to him and earn a bigger role. Like I think Corey Davis signing with us, if he went to some other teams, he may not have been a number one wide receiver. I think it's possible that he could be the second option. But I think coming here, maybe he likes what Sal is doing. He played in a LaFleur offense already, so I think that's attractive to him. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the draft. And I saw people mention him. Chris Sims is bored. Man, that guy is quarterback Nostradamus.
He is. It's impressive. The amount of accuracy he's had the last 4 or 5 years is impressive.
It's like, who was he hiring in 2017? Patrick Mahomes. Who was he hiring in 2018? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Who was he hiring in 2019? Kyler Murray. 2020, Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. It's like the guy is never wrong. That's why I don't get people who are like, I don't trust Zach Wilson. Like, and at the same time, you're looking at the guy who's been right every time the last 4 or 5 years, and you want to bet against this guy, a fifth time, and get burned again?
Yeah. I mean, the other way you could look at it is like, oh, well, he's bound to be wrong at some point, and maybe this is it. But no, everyone's preaching how Trevor Lawrence is some generational prospect, and I get it. Like the metrics, the size, the speed, everything, the arm strength, everything's there.
But the other quarterbacks are not bad either.
No, but the pressure he's going to have to deal with and overcome. Zach Wilson won't have that. That's a nice thing to have if you're the New York Jets.
Oh, absolutely. And then also you don't.
And you are ejected from the cockpit. Oh, Vinny, thank you so much for calling in. God, I love launching people out of here. This is so much better than just hanging up on people. the countdown timer is just, absolutely the best. What are you guys saying in the chat? Jet Life says this Freeze Bean should be the new Jets mascot. Freeze Bean would be a great mascot. Wall Street Wilson. I've got a really good shirt idea for a Wall Street Wilson shirt design. So I have to come up with a good enough shirt or artwork. I don't know if Lame Cactus says, what happened to the new phone line? I had the new phone line set up. I asked Joe Blewett. He told me I got to get in contact with Robbie Sabo about how they use Call-In Studio, because I tried to use it and it didn't work. So I'll definitely try to get it happening. It's just a pain in the butt. I can't figure it out. I think I might need to upgrade my Zoom. Apparently, you need the ability to call on Zoom, and that's the piece that I think I'm missing, because I pay for the premium Zoom. It's just not that one, I don't think.
To accept.
What's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's up, Ryan? How are you doing today?
I am just having a great night. I am having a little beer. I am talking Jets with some of my favorite people. Talk to me. How are you feeling about free agency?
Personally, I'm not a huge guy. I'm not huge on bringing in a bunch of high-end contracts in free agency. So I actually like the contracts, the players that he signed, especially to the contract. You look at Carl Lawson. You can't just look at sacks. You have to look at pressures, right? That's Quentin Williams, John Franklin Myers, Foley Crosby. All these dudes are getting tons of pressure. It may not convert to sacks, but listen, not every play you need to get a sack. As long as you're putting pressure on the quarterback, he doesn't know what he's doing. It just completely hurts him. Corey Davis, I absolutely love. I don't remember the last time it was a call-in show because we didn't do one last week and the week before. Whatever. But I remember I told you, Corey Davis, I want Corey Davis. I think the upside is so good for the contract you can do. I think that's exactly that. I mean, he's amazing in the play action, which is what LaFleur loves. Well, that's what the Shanahan loves, and I'm assuming LaFleur is going to be like that. Gerard Davis, whatever, garbage. With the rest of the free agents are just garbage.
Yeah, I think the overspending over the last few years has been such an issue for the New York Jets. And I said it before with the whole dead cap thing. If you have dead cap, the Jets had, what, $15, $16 million worth of dead cap last year? That is an entirely, like, elite player that you're just missing from your roster. You could basically have Kenny Golladay on your roster for $18 million, but the Jets have dead cap, so they can't sign him. Like, not that you necessarily want that particular player, but I'm just using it as an example.
Yeah. And I want to talk about the draft for a minute, okay?
Sure.
Because everyone's saying, like, oh, my God, it's Zach Wilson. It's, like, set in stone. When I really don't think it's going to be Zach Wilson. I'm, like, 99% sure it's going to be Justin Fields. When you look at Joe D's, if you look at Joe Douglas's history in signing free agents or drafting players, he really likes the more athletic, high boom, high bust picks. You look at last year when we're at 11, you have Becton, you have Wirfs on the board. Wirfs is smaller. He's a safer pick. He's a safer pick, but he doesn't have the ceiling that Mekhi Becton has. He took Becton, who was if he busts, you're screwed because he could be awful. But if he hits, he's awesome. And he took it. When you look at all these free agent signings too, Corey Davis, he was a high boomer bust guy. Even Carl Lawson, I don't think Carl Lawson is much. But if you kind of, even Denzel Mims, he was a very athletic, high boomer bust guy. If you look at the undrafted free agents from last year, all of them are super athletic and stuff. And Fields, did you see that video? He ran reportedly a 4.41.
That's fast.
At that size,
6'3", what, 230?
He, like you said, he reminds me of Russell Wilson if he grew like 5 inches taller and could run a 4.41, which is like as fast as Lamar Jackson. And he's so accurate. Like, listen, I don't think his his reading a defense problem is that big. A lot of Ohio State's routes are deeper and take longer to develop, which forces the quarterback to run more. And I hate that Ohio State's quarterbacks never produced because that was Urban Meyer quarterbacks, not Ryan Day quarterbacks.
That's true. That is a fact. That is going to be a big, interesting part of this whole equation because everyone's talking about Zach Wilson. Like, what happens if the Jets trade down from 4? And no one thinks the Jets are taking a quarterback at 4 if they're trading down. I don't endorse this, but if they traded down and took Fields instead of Wilson, or Wilson falls, do we think that there's going to be a quarterback taken at number 3 if the Jets trade down to 4? I don't know if that's the case. I just don't love the idea of passing on a quarterback if you like a guy.
Yeah, but my problem with Wilson, I really don't like his injury history. Like, even in 2019, I did not want Bosa. I don't like injured players. I don't care how great you are if you only play 10 games for me. He's had, 2 shoulder surgeries on each shoulder. I really don't like that. His surgery on his throwing hand, I really don't like that. And I think a lot of his problems aren't fixable, right? He doesn't have the speed, he doesn't have the size, injury history. Fields' problems are mostly mental, and all of those can be fixed by Fields.
That's it! You're out of here! Boom! Sorry, Eli. You've been ejected from the cockpit. After Lawrence, Joe, we need to gamble now. Take your pick. I'm confused. I don't know what you're talking about. Richie says Wilson might actually go at 1. It's possible if there's enough steam to this locomotive. If the Jets can get Wilson or Lawrence, I'm 100% good with it. Oh, man. You know who this is.
Call from
Chris from Florida.
To accept.
What's up, Chris from Florida? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Jet Nation fans? Let's hear it for the Jets. I'm back from the Adam Gase hibernation, and we're going to start the NFL season off with a banger.
I love it, dude. How are you feeling about free agency?
Very, very proud. I am super impressed with Joe Douglas. I understand the fans. I totally get it. People are saying freaking out and stuff. The thing is, though, we've all been affected by the fever of the Mackay, McLean, whatever, our old GM. I don't even remember the name. That's how
McCagnon.
bad it was. Whatever.
Horrible.
The
Forget him.
The virus of spending and hoping for a great outcome only to be disappointed. I agree with a lot of the things you said, Ryan. Of course, I am still on the fan and hoping base of Sam Darnold, and this is a huge prediction of mine for the draft, considering how we did the free agency. What I believe Joe Douglas has done is he has focused again, like last year, on a lot of players that were on an uphill ranking. He gave them the long-term contract to show faith, and the ones that have already hit a peak or have shown, good strength, a short year, thinking that they'll have to push more for a much better contract the following year. I think based on the positions he's covered, I see Joe Douglas trading the pick back with the Falcons, and depending on whether the Dolphins decide to get a quarterback or not, will decide whether Joe Douglas goes back again. I do see, however, Sam Darnold staying and Joe Douglas picking Sewell at number 4. And then with the 23rd draft pick, I see him getting an edge rusher.
That's interesting. I don't love the idea of going Sewell at all, just because you're moving a left tackle to right tackle, and you already spent such a high asset on Mekhi Becton. It's not that I don't like Sewell the player. I do. And if you think he's a home run, by all means, I get it, I guess. But I think you're setting yourself up for a really awkward, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, when you can only pay one of Mekhi Becton or Penei Sewell, and you have to let one walk, when you could be drafting another player and have that player longer than just their rookie contract. Because I think you're going to end up having to trade one of the guys or sacrifice another part of your team. Now, I could see the Jets trading down. Could you imagine if they had a relatively equal grade on Fields and Wilson, and they trade from 2 to 4, and they're like, okay, we're good with either taking the quarterback that falls to us at 3 or taking the top non-quarterback because Miami, traded out and got a team in there that wanted a quarterback. That would be an interesting situation. If they're cool with running it back with Sam and just having a competition with one of those two guys, I think that's interesting.
I think what my only defense is with the whole keeping Sam Darnold, you take off the excuses, of course, and the biggest equation of Adam Gase being a part of that season. I think the biggest also mindset for me is you've mentioned before about how much time Joe Douglas and Saleh has with the team based on their contracts. They have 5 years left, that's including this year. If you go ahead and see Sam, you take the opportunity of this year, of this team, and fill in a lot of the blanks for what the team needs to. You pre-prepare for the following year. If Sam really isn't the case, you're still going to land somewhere on a 3 to 4 round draft pick. And we can't forget that whatever the prediction is for the Seahawks, if the Seahawks lose Russell Wilson, that's already another guaranteed top 10 pick in my head. So
that would be amazing. That's of anything that could happen between now and the end of this season is Russell Wilson getting traded. That is by far the best case scenario for anything Jet related.
Exactly. Because we
Jamal
all know that fact
gets to play for a loser again, and we get a top 10 pick out of it.
Exactly. So in my case, again, the better thing what Joe Douglas and Saleh are probably thinking right now is, let's fill in these gaps. I really like how Douglas is focusing on he's still all about growing from the draft, and I love that. And I really love the more fact that we've got someone like Saleh who's attracting agents, and you hear the passion.
Boom! Thank you so much, Chris from Florida, for calling in. I love having you. You guys are getting hot in the chat about the BYU and Ohio State quarterbacks. Who's better, who's not. Guys arguing about Trey Lance in there. I see it. Guys, if you like this video, if you like the Jets content, if you want to see more live streams, if you want to see the Jets win some games, drop a like on the video.
To accept,
it'll be greatly appreciated.
To
Brother, welcome to the Cockpit.
What's going on?
How you doing, brother? How you feeling about free agency?
Good, man. I think we did a great job, man. It's funny, man. Being from New York, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, we had some season where we spent a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Joe Douglas is doing a really good job. I mean, I think we got to hit on some more things, like the offensive line, obviously. But I don't think it's the end of the world, you know?
Sure, yeah. I would say if I had to grade our free agency, I'm kind of feeling it's like somewhere in the B range. Like I like a lot of them. Yeah, like maybe you could talk me into like an A minus, but I think just not getting one of the top guard options is setting us. I don't want to say setting us back, but it's holding me back from giving it a higher grade. I think you're going to have to spend one of your top 3 picks on a guard, whether it be Wyatt Davis, Elijah Vera Tucker, someone in that vein.
I agree 100%. I mean, I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. There is somebody that's a hidden gem that I think only Joe Douglas could talk out of opting out, which is Larry Warford. People forget he was a Pro Bowl guard for the Saints. You know, he opted out last year. If anybody could talk him into coming to New York, I think it's Joe Douglas. You know, he's the offensive line guru. So,
That's an interesting thought process. I don't know enough about Warford to know if he fits whatever blocking scheme we're going to be doing this year, but I really liked him. I think he was leaving Detroit in 2017. I think that's where he was originally from before he signed with the Saints, and that's who I wanted the Jets to get. So if we got him now, and I want to say he's like 28 years old. He's not like that old. Like if you get a guard,
he's a young guy.
Yeah, if you can get him, you got him. I mean, Tooney's 28 also, so he got what, a 5-year deal? So you could give Warford a 2-year deal maybe if you're not feeling like you want to, sign him to a monster deal. I'd be cool with it.
I agree. I think people need to realize that everything works in a certain order, and I think people start to get carried away with the whole McGovern. I think McGovern and Fant played pretty well, but you can only play but so well if you don't have 2 good guards. You know, the line works in sync. So if your left and your right guard don't work out, then it's only going to put a bullseye on McGovern. And even with that being said, I think Fant played very well for the contract we gave him. I think we're good at left and right tackle. And, I'd say, me personally, I like Trey Smith in the draft. I think we could get him in the 3rd round because he's an exceptional talent. He did have some health issues, but
I would like to upgrade
edge.
Yeah. I think edge and corner outside of like quarterback at number 2, I think are going to be, I would say, okay, so edge, guard, corner. Those are the 3 biggest needs, right? Outside of quarterback. So you got to think if they trade Sam for a second, those will probably be those 3 picks. I would be surprised if they weren't.
Oh, for sure. And I think realistically, we should just stop thinking about a 1st-round pick and focus more on a 2nd-round pick, like maybe Denver's 2nd-round pick or possibly the Bears. Because say what you want, I don't think the Bears are sold on Andy Dalton at all. I think it's just a panic move to have something in place, until they can figure something else out. But
I think Sam gets traded. I don't know if it's during the 1st round. It might be like the Bears get to pick Washington's 19. Bears, I think, are 20. You get to those picks, if Mac Jones is gone, if they're on like maybe Kyle Trask, then maybe they consider, okay, we're going to take the top non-quarterback on our board and we're going to move our 2nd-round pick for Sam Darnold because we trust Sam Darnold's upside being a former number 3 overall pick versus the number 20 potential prospect in, say Kyle Trask or someone of that nature.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not. I like Sam a lot. I just think like everybody's saying, you got a new head coach, your GM. Everybody's locked in for 5 years. Get you your quarterback. You don't got to move up, move down, do anything. Sit there, take Zach. The writing is on the wall. I just feel like if we make this mistake in overthinking, keeping Sam doing this, it's gonna bite us in the ass so bad. We're gonna regret this for at least 5 to 10 years.
Dude, how much are we regretting not signing or not drafting Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes? I don't want that to happen to our Jets again. Brother, thank you so much for calling in. You have been ejected from the cockpit. Oh, you guys are great. You guys are on fire tonight. I love it. Guys, if you have not dropped a like, drop that like. We got over 360 people in here. We got close to 400 people across all 3 platforms. It's good to see this. Multivials. I will throw your comment on the screen as soon as it pops through. I'm not forgetting about you. Oh, I think it just popped through. There it is. He says, bold prediction for the AFC East. Starting quarterbacks, Bills, Josh Allen. Dolphins get Watson. Patriots get Justin Fields. Jets get Trevor Lawrence. Book it. That's like not the most like outrageous set of circumstances that I could like see happening, believe it or not. I mean, altogether, like maybe if you're parlaying that, I could understand that being a little tough. But you got Allen. Watson to the Dolphins makes a ton of sense. I think the Jets and the Dolphins are the only 2 teams interested in him. Justin Fields falling to the Pats. I've seen that happen in a few mock drafts. I don't buy it happening. I think that's probably the least likely. And Trevor Lawrence falling to the Jets. If Wilson's as hot as everyone's saying that he is, it's not unreasonable that it couldn't see a flip. We've seen flips like Baker and Sam.
I've sent the caller to voicemail.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I tried to pick it up for you. But I clicked 1. It sent you to voicemail. All right. Give another call in. Hopefully I can get you on the line. But that is an incredibly bold prediction because those are 3 not likely things to happen across the board.
Call from
Carson, I thought I got rid of you. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for being able to get through again.
What's going on, Ryan?
Oh, not much. How you feeling about free agency?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to give you a great signing, something we missed out on, and I want to talk about Sam Darnold in the draft.
Sure, absolutely. Fire away.
A signing, I think the overall grade is a B+. And here's why. The guy that we didn't sign that I was bewildered that we didn't sign was Adoree Jackson. 25 years old, top 10 corner, arguably in the league without injuries. I think he should have been someone we should have taken a look at. A guy that people have no respect for whatsoever is Jarrad Davis. The guy in 2017 and 18 led the Detroit Lions in solo tackles and tackles for loss. People don't seem to realize that. He is a very good linebacker. He was misused by Matt Patricia in that Detroit Lions system. He had 98 and 95 tackles in 2017 and 2018. I would put my money on it that he leads the team in tackles next year. Just don't be surprised at that. And when all the guys that say, "Oh, Jarrad Davis," well, who is that? Don't come back to me and saying, "Oh, we got this guy for a steal," because you didn't want him. I think that's foolish for people to say because this guy is a stud. And another thing I want to talk about, back in 2017 or 18, did we draft Darnold? I think it was 17, right? 17?
18 was the Darnold draft.
18 was the Darnold draft, okay. At Darnold's pro day, that magnificent pro day in the rain in Pompano Beach, California, there was 5 teams that attended. The Jets, Giants, Eagles, Browns, and the 49ers. And the guy and the people that were at that pro day was Mike LaFleur. He was in attendance at that pro day, okay? So he got to see firsthand Sam Darnold, okay? We look at the head coaches and the offensive coordinators that he's had. Jeremy Bates, he's had Dow Loggins and the Adam Gase shit show. Sorry for my French. And
it's all right.
And Todd Bowles, okay? None of these guys really played to his skill set, okay? And he's never had the targets around him. What is the 49ers offense known for? Shifting, rolling out, motioning. That's what they're 3 wide receiver sets, a tight end, and a running back. That's what they're known for, okay? Sam Darnold's best asset is throwing on the run and moving with the ball. We've seen that. He's excellent at it. That's his best trait, okay? Give him the tools to succeed, and I think we should be fine. And I've also said to many of my friends who are Jets fans, we should be trading down to like 4 or 5, not drafting a quarterback, and you get Kyle Pitts. The guy ran a 4.40 at 6'6", 250. I'm sorry. That is unreal. That's
bananas fast.
That is bananas test for a guy who's 6'6", 250. Okay, that's unreal. Okay, and what Salah and LaFleur did with Kittle in that offense, he's the primary target in that offense. You get at Sam Darnold, a guy who's I've known the tight end to be the quarterback's best friend. You get a guy that could do that, and he's considered a generational talent compared to like Antonio Gates. Like this needs to be the pick. Kyle Pitts. He also went to the University of Florida, and there's a trend that I think it's kind of crazy, but Joe Douglas looks at a lot of guys from the state of Florida. Gerard Davis.
He does. That's where some of the best college football players come from, for sure. I mean, you look at those schools, and you look at just the high school guys moving up to the the college ranks. We've looked at the University of Florida a few times, I feel like.
I think I wouldn't. Don't be shocked if we take Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts could change the offense. He really could. That's why I don't think he went after. I don't think he went after Juju that hard. I really don't. I know there was rumors about us talking contract with him. If they signed Juju, I think that the offense would sort of be complete in terms of weapons. But I just feel that there's a major hole at the pass catching. Like Corey Davis is a stud, no doubt. I think he's legit. He could run every route in the route tree. But he's a 2B or 2A. I don't think he's at number 1. If you can get Kyle Pitts in the draft, when was the last time the Jets had a good tight end? Dustin Keller?
Yeah, I mean, that's the last time you had, like, maybe an exciting tight end. I feel like Herndon could be that. Like, I feel like Herndon could be better than Keller was. It just, like, what we got out of him last year was so disappointing. I want to see him. This is the hardest part for me because I understand Pitts is a generational talent, but I think the quarterback's more important. I don't know if I could sign on to it. If you had to sell me on one player that is a non-quarterback in this draft, it's Kyle Pitts. So if the Jets trade down, they want to roll with Sam, I do think that is the player that you should go with. It's just a matter of how far down you want to go. Brother, thank you so much for calling in. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Guys, make sure you drop a like on this video as you come through. That was a great caller. Very, very knowledgeable fan. Had a bunch of great points. We've had a bunch of good ones tonight. A lot of good questions.
Call from
CJ DeSimone from Weapons.
To accept.
CJ DeSimone from Weapons. Hot brother, what's good? How you doing tonight?
What's going on, Ryan?
Good to have you on, brother. What's on your mind and how you feeling about free agency?
Man, I tell you, I started panicking a little bit when we didn't get Dooney, when we saw Ryan Lindley go and sign some. Joe Douglas is making a lot of low-risk, high-reward moves, and especially, come on, if you're not encouraged about that defensive line with the fact that they got Carl Lawson and now Rankins from New Orleans, I mean, the Jets, when it's all said and done, could be looking at least on paper anyway, one of the best front four in the NFL. I mean, Quentin Williams, I'm excited to see this team take the field just for that defensive front alone. But still got a lot of work to do on the offensive line. Was very pleased with the addition of the Cole from Jacksonville, and also Corey Davis. Called that pick on our show, which was kind of funny because we were all like, "Yeah, I could see them going after Galladay," and Galladay ends up signing a deal with the Giants. So I mean,
Absolutely. We were talking, Jimmy and I were talking about that before, and we were just like, man, this is just something. The Corey Davis signing is a sneaky good signing because you didn't pay a ton of money. Like, you look at Aguilar from the Patriots got $12 million a year. I'll take Corey Davis all day over Aguilar. No questions asked.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really think the Jets made out on that end of the deal, and I know a lot of fans are very frustrated. They're voicing their frustration out over social media, and I mean, some of it, that's because they're not used to the team being built this way. This is something that we're all not used to, where Joe Douglas is taking a page out of the Ozzie Newsome book, building out of the draft, getting a few free agents sprinkled in for gaps here and there to have a competitive core, not just one that's going to compete next 5 years. So it's two words. It's called competitive sustainability. We talk about this a lot, and this is something that we're starting to see, take shape. And I think just as a Jets fan base, it's something like we've got a lot of angst, a lot of PTSD, a lot of stress. We want to see playmakers added to this team, dynamic players added to this team, but we really should start being able to develop our own dynamic playmakers with the help of a good coaching staff that we have, which is something we haven't had. What are your thoughts on that?
Say that word again? I loved it, the phrase.
Competitive sustainability.
Competitive sustainability. That is like the perfect term for how you want your franchise built, because you don't want to be too top heavy. This is why the whole Penei Sewell thing gets me. Like, if you're too top heavy in your left tackle position, you're going to spend a ton of money. You have to spread this out across all 53 players. So who are you looking at come draft time now? Now, based on like the Jets free agency and how everything was handled, what are you looking at come draft time?
Well, if we don't draft Zach Wilson or Justin Fields at 2, and Joe Douglas decides to trade out of that number 2 spot, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to run it back with Sam Darnold. I think he could potentially take a radical approach. Now, this is something I could just see it now. He's about to blow up when I say this, but I could see if the Jets were to end up at maybe with the number 6 pick or the number 8 pick, drafting a Kyle Pitts, accumulating some other picks, and then possibly in the second round, maybe at number 34, if he's there, taking a chance on quarterback Kyle Trask out of Florida. You know what I mean? The kid's a very accurate quarterback, and he's not getting a lot of love. I know a lot of Florida quarterbacks have not done well in the NFL, and I know a lot of people are looking at him like, well, what do we want with another Florida bum? But this kid actually played an entire season against the toughest position in the SEC, and he absolutely balled out. Take a look at Kyle Pitts' stats. Take a look at Kadarius Toney's stats. These are 2 of his main weapons he has in your squad. Now, yes, I'm a Florida Gators fan. I'm going to root for the Gators all the time. But I tell you, these are guys that could really translate over into the NFL, and I'm hoping they find their way to green and white. I really do.
Dude, I love the enthusiasm, and Jimmy by Jets is absolutely ripping you a new one. Brother, thank you so much for calling in. That was CJ from Weapons Hot. Make sure you go over and check out their channel. They got some great content. Him and Jimmy, good stuff over there.
Call from
all 3 of those guys.
Ben,
what's good, dude? Welcome to the Cockpit.
What's up? What's up?
How you feeling about our free agency, brother?
All right, so I like it. I love, my favorite signing. I love this Keelan Cole signing. I liked him a lot his rookie year. He fell off a little bit the next 2 years, but I think he really stepped up in year 4. Obviously didn't get another contract with Jacksonville, but I think we got a steal. I love him.
Oh yeah, I'm a fan of the pick, or not a fan of the pick, a fan of the signing. I think it's really, I don't want to say underrated, but I think it's really good. And Jets by Jimmy, I keep saying Jimmy by Jets, and it's just because there's too many J's and Emmys, Ets in your name. That's exactly it. I'm just screwing it up by mistake. I'm so bad at this. Sorry, go on. So, aside from Keelan Cole, who else would you say is your favorite signing?
I mean, not gonna lie, I like all of them. I think these guys. I'm a fan. It's not just like the talent, like especially with like Carl Lawson and Justin Hardy, and these guys and Sheldon Rankins. These guys have like the passion. Like they actually like want to be here. They want to play for the New York Jets.
Yeah, the Justin Hardy signing is like an exciting one because I think he's going to bring a lot of excitement to free agents or to special teams. Keelan Cole being able to play that punt returner role and be your 4th wide receiver. Like, if one of our guys goes down, I can see Keelan Cole being able to step into a role and be able to produce for us.
For sure.
100%.
Like, he can do it all. Like, he'll play in the slide. He can, like, I've seen him moss people. Man, he's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You've seen, I mean, everyone's seen the Statue of Liberty catch where he's just jumping over the Patriots' defensive back. Just absolutely insane. Stick him on his hands.
Yeah, but all right. So another point. So I'm just going to talk about the Giants for a little bit, just for a few
Go for
30
it.
seconds.
I'm fine with that.
I feel like Dave Gettleman went full Mike McCagnon this free agency. Not as bad as
Ooh,
the
I love it.
2019 class. Like, did you see Galladay's contract breakdown? 4.5 first year, but then 21.5 mil over the next 3 years after that. Are you serious,
dude? He's going full McCagnon. That's what it is. That's McCagnon when
Exactly.
he signed CJ and Bell and all these guys, and you're like, oh god, like I need to win because if I don't win, if Daniel Jones fails, you're either getting fired, or you're gonna have Gettleman for the next like 5 years because Daniel Jones did well. Like,
and also
it scares me. I do like their free agency, but the contract structure is very concerning. Lots of money.
Also,
I don't know where this. Do you think they trade Barkley or not re-sign him? Maybe.
I don't know. I think they might not pick up his option. I don't know.
I don't know. I think they'll pick up.
They might. Depends how he does.
I would like to see them sign him long term. Maybe going into his 4th year. So going into his 4th year, you exercise the 5th year option, and then maybe you re-sign him after this season. You stretch out his contract, like almost like a Gurley. But I feel like when you sign running backs to monster contracts, it never works out.
I know. And one more point. So I'm assuming you heard about Caleb Farley having back surgery, right?
I did not hear about that.
So Caleb Farley, like people think he's like the best or second best corner of the draft. You could put him or Surtain. You can go either way. Apparently he's having back surgery, and he'll be fine by training camp. But I think this is a blessing in disguise. We have not signed a corner yet for God knows why. So I think Caleb Farley, if he drops to 23, I think we scoop him up at 23, and I believe a corner should be our first pick, whether it's J.C. Horn or Farley. I don't think Surtain will be there. Then you can go guard in round 2. Say you trade Sam for a second, draft Wyatt Davis in round 2, draft Deontay Brown, who's 360 pounds of pure thickness, like Mekhi Becton was.
Yeah, dude, I'm 100% on this. Like, I think the Jets are going cornerback at 23. I wanted them to go like corner or edge in 23 initially. Now that I've seen how free agency is shaken up, corner's definitely where I want to go. J.C. Horn, you said Surtain. I don't think Surtain's going to make it, like you said. If Farley does drop that far, I would be all about bringing him in. I like Asante Samuel Jr. as well. Like, there's a lot of corners in this draft that I'm a big fan of, but it's really only up until, like, pick 34. Like, once you get past pick 34, I'm not super sold on, like, a lot of guys.
Neither am I.
Brother, thank you so much for calling in. You have been ejected from the cockpit. Chicken shooting across the screen. Oh, God. Who we got?
Call from
Tyler from Brooklyn.
Tyler from Brooklyn. How you doing tonight?
Going on, brother? How you doing?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. How you feeling about free agency?
Man, I'm not mad at it because my philosophy has always been, you win through the draft, and if you look at the best teams over the last 10 years, really in any sport, but focusing on football, if you look at the Chiefs and you look at the Seahawks and you look at New England and these teams who are in Baltimore and Pittsburgh, these teams draft from within, they re-sign from within, and they build from within. Green Bay, another example. And the issue for the Jets has never been really, getting free agents. At the end of the day, it's New York. People want to come and play here, but the issue has always been our Achilles heel is drafting. I mean, you go from the Mark Sanchez's to the Quentin Copels and the Calvin Pryors, and the list goes on and on. From every position, D. Milliners. Our issue has been we have not been able to draft. And I remember reading a stat recently, and it was like 9 of our last 10 first-round picks aren't even on the team. So
it's just Sam. It's like Sam and Quentin. Like, that's it.
That's it. So to me, it's not really the issue of we need to bring in free agents. The issue is we need to draft, and with the picks that we have this year and coming up,
It's about can this new front office and this new coaching staff can these guys bring in, the right players, and that's what the issue is and the key to this success is going to be. I remember when the Eagles brought in all those free agents and Vince Young said, we're a super team, we're an all-star team, and I don't even know if they made the playoffs that year. So,
I don't think they did. I think they won like 5 games. It was like not a good year for them.
No, so you see that the key is always drafting. To me, when you get into the draft, it's I don't like it's either Wilson or Fields, because to me that means that nobody's really sure. And if you can't really tell me, well, yeah, there's a guarantee. Well, nothing's a guarantee, but if there's not someone that they're sure is, hey, this is the number 2 guy, then I'm a little concerned. I'm a little scared from PTSD of that we're not going to be able to choose the right guy between, Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. And if that's the case with the holes that we have, like a lot of the other callers have said, moving back, getting more picks, I mean, at the end of the day, if these other picks probably won't make us play on teams, and we might be in the same position again next year anyway to get another crack at our quarterback. Hopefully we just, we won't win 2 out of our last 3 games like we seem to do every year and not get the first pick. But, I like moving back. I like acquiring more picks. Teams are always looking to move up to get that quarterback. The Rams did it with Goff, and the Redskins did it with RG3. So there's never going to be a shortage of people. So to me, you move back, if you're not sold, which it doesn't seem like there's a consensus that there is, and you get the other pieces, because at the end of the day, if you bring in Wilson or Fields or whoever, if the assets aren't around them, they're going to fail. And that's what's been the vicious cycle for the team over the last, so many quarterbacks we've gotten. Is you bring in Darnold or whoever else, and the talent's not around them, and then they regress. So they're out there like sitting ducks, and then it's a constant change of coordinators, coaches, schemes, and these kids just don't have a chance when they come in here, which has been the issue. And I just feel like it's time to, maybe we got to go a different approach, which is start building some good things around, and then you bring the quarterback in, and then maybe you have them set up for a little bit better success. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but.
Yeah, I think one of the nice things about the Jets having as many picks as they do is Joe Douglas is able to infuse this team with guys that are his guys. Because it sucks when you don't have a lot of picks or a lot of assets to make these moves, because all of a sudden, now you have to try and take multiple years to do this. And the leash that GMs and head coaches have, and quarterbacks for that matter, are so small in terms of actual window. So doing what he's doing now, filling the gaps, building through the draft, he was able to draft well last year, I think. I know a lot of people will give him crap for the Morgan pick, and I think that's fair to do. We didn't get to see Clark. We didn't really get to see much of Zuniga. I like the Hall pick in the 5th round. I think that was a home run of a pick. I like the Becton pick. I like the Mims pick. I think he's hitting on more picks than not, and it's better than what we've seen over the last few years from our general managers. Brother, thank you so much for calling in. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Boys, we got about a half hour more. Make sure you drop a like on the stream if you enjoy the call-in show. Luke, what's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Hey, Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How you feeling about free agency?
I think I would give it a solid B+ so far.
I like that.
I think our most underrated move was Hardy. Our special teams was so bad. You had Brandon Mann making game-saving tackles for us, and we got one of the best gunners in the league now.
Dude, field position is one of those sneaky yardage things that are never accounted. Two ways to get yardage that are never factored in terms of players' stats. It's punt yardage, like the special teams change of field position, and penalty yardage. Those are the 2 things I harp on all the time. Like, if your team is giving up 350 yards, 400 yards worth of offense, and you're having 70 yards of penalties, and you have like all these other issues, like I've always said, those are the 2 sneakiest ways to gain yardage on teams.
I completely agree. But looking at the draft, I don't understand why the Falcons would look to move up. They have so many needs on their roster, new coaching staff, and they could sit at 4 and take one of the top 4 quarterbacks. So why would they trade up and give up a lot of assets?
So I think if we were to trade with the Falcons, it would be for significantly less than what we would get from other teams. I think staying in the top 4 is valuable for the Jets, and I think it might take, say, the Falcons' first-round pick next year, and that's it. It won't be a very big haul of picks, but I could see the Jets, if they trade down to 4, and, if, let's say, Kyle Pitts is not the pick at 4, then I could see them trading down again and getting more picks from there. Going from Carolina, dropping from 4 to 8, I could see that happening. I just don't know. Like you said, I don't know the motivation for the Falcons to want to trade up, because the worst case scenario, you've got Matt Ryan back for another year. I don't think you have to force the issue. I think you can get one of the quarterbacks that's going to fall to you, because more than likely, I don't know if I see a team trading up to number 3 to get Fields. I think Fields is just going to fall to them at 4. I think Miami is going to take Penei Sewell, and they're going to protect Tua.
Yeah, I think they're going to protect. I really think it's 50-50 if they trade down. I think they could go Chase or Sewell, but they also could reload, get more picks. But in the draft, I was listening to this draft podcast. They said a lot of this draft interior offensive line is more man power blocking, and we need zone blockers who can move, and there's not a lot of them. So interior offensive line definitely still concerns me in this draft. I don't know what we're going to do there.
Yeah, I would say having to rely on a rookie to play well his first year is nerve-wracking, especially with the potential of drafting a quarterback at number 2. You have this new asset. That's why the Jets still have $25-35 million worth of salary cap space. I think it allows them the opportunity to trade for a potential guard in season or maybe around training camp time. I think there's going to be some other options for the Jets, and I don't think what we have right now is the final depth chart, really. I just don't want to roll into a rookie season with a rookie guard expecting them to play really well with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, because, you've got your left tackle, obviously, Fant. You've got at least one, probably 2 years. McGovern, maybe 2, probably 1. So you need 2 guards. I think in this draft, Elijah Vera Tucker, if he's there, has to be the pick. If we could get a stud guard, I would take him, and he could probably be a plug-and-play starter.
Yeah, he's probably, if I had to pick one guard in round 1, that's probably it. That's probably the guy. Then I'm probably looking at Wyatt Davis at 34. I'm looking at the Alabama guard, maybe in the 3rd round, Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma. There's other guys that I would consider, but Vera Tucker is the one that I think is the starter from day 1 if he falls to 23.
I don't know if you saw it, but they said that Marcus May might hold out, and I don't think that's going to happen. But do you think Marcus is extended long-term, or is he off the team next year?
I would say he's probably... All right, I'm going to give you a few more seconds because I want to answer this the right way. So he's getting close to $11 million this year. If he holds out, I don't think he'll hold out. I would be very surprised because he's pretty old at this. I don't want to say pretty old, but he's 28 years old. So the Jets are going to want to sign him long-term. I hope we can get a deal done, and I hope they give him a little bit more than what the franchise tag's worth. And Marcus May needs to realize the Jets can just use the franchise tag on him again next year. There's no free agents that are hitting, that we have that I would consider, as a priority to try and franchise tag over May. And if you franchise tag May again, he gets 120% of the... Actually, I don't even know if it's 120% anymore because it's the average of the top 5. Well, yeah, I guess it would. It would be an average. It would be 120% of what his current salary is. So 120% of 11 million is what, 13 million? That's still cheaper than what you would get on a multi-year deal. So if you're May, dude, sign a 4-year, $12 million a year deal. That needs to be the pick or the play. If he's thinking he's going to hold out, then I'm the Jets. I let him sit, and then I probably let him walk at the end of the season, and then hopefully get a comp pick because maybe you have less free agents coming in next year. I don't know. It's interesting nonetheless. What do you see happening with May?
He's 28. I feel like they need to get a deal done now. Douglas doesn't seem like he's the person to extend players past like 31 or 32. So I don't know if he's gonna get that 4-year deal or anything more like that. So maybe it's like a 2 or 3 year extension, but I don't see anything more than that.
I would love to see Jamal Adams get franchise tagged twice and never get like the big money that he wants. That's like my little like subtle jab. I know it's not a May question, but I know it's a May question, but I have to bring up Jamal because he just gets me so angry as a safety, and I don't really care. And brother, thank you so much for calling in. You have been ejected from the cockpit.
You're out of here!
I can't tell you how long it took me to make the little chicken fly across the screen and like flap his arms. That was a picture of a chicken like this, and I cut its arms or wings to make it go like this. KSE says we don't need to sign May now. I would like to sign May now. I would like to.
Call from
Mike Mutviles.
Mudviles, what's up, multivitamins? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I can't complain. I'm actually pretty happy with how free agency has gone. I'm not like wowed, but I'm happy. I'm pleased. I don't think we had to go over the top money-wise.
It's not the big moves that everyone was asking for, like Lindsey and Thuney and all that, but it's smart moves. Me, I want to put more on the offensive line and draft younger guys to be able to be ready.
Yes, I think we're going to have to start investing some premium draft capital. And I'm talking, like we've said in this stream, you have to go, whether it's pick 23, whether it's pick 34, whether it's pick 23 and say a third round pick. Like I'm okay with double dipping at that position because it's just so valuable.
Right. That's why some mock drafts have taken Y. Davis.
Yep.
My thing though is this. Do you really see this is a non-draft one. Do you think Belichick would really jump up to 4? Because I've seen some mock drafts of the Patriots doing that to be able to get Justin Fields.
I'll say this. They've already traded up in the draft, which is something they don't do. They made a trade, I think it was with the Texans, and they flopped like three picks where they actually moved up. And they've signed a ton of money in free agency. I could see if they think that Fields or Lance or maybe the Jets don't go with Wilson and Wilson falls or something like that, could I see them trading up to 4? I don't know what it would cost. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up the trade value chart because I'm just out of curiosity. It's going to cost them more than what the trade value chart says because you're coming up for a quarterback and you're going from 15 up to 4. Like the Falcons falling back that far, you're going to have to give up a massive amount of picks. And I'd have to imagine if that happens, it's because Belichick is going to be leaving if he doesn't hit on the quarterback. I think he's got to hit on the quarterback. To me, I think Mac Jones at 15 is what's going to happen. I think they're going to stay put. But let's see. They are 1,050 points is pick 15. And then, so it's like a 750-point difference to get up to 4, which is basically the equivalent of the 23rd pick, oddly enough. So you're probably looking New England giving up their first next year and probably an additional first. I think it would cost them 2 firsts to get up from 4 to make the Falcons want to drop down to 15.
Yeah, I was thinking like 2 1s, 2 2s, and maybe like a mid-tier player or something, or a mid-round pick.
Yeah,
something like that.
I don't see the Falcons wanting to drop down that far. I could see the Dolphins wanting to drop down. Maybe not that. Like that's a long way. You're falling out of blue chip player range at that point.
True, but they believe in Matt Ryan though, which I think they do. That they'll stick with it. Especially this. I can't see them if they're not going to 4. Then they would have to try to go to 1 because then you got the Jets and Dolphins, and neither one of us are trading out of there unless we're getting a King's
No,
ransom.
absolutely not. I don't think you could even give me a King's ransom for trading with the Patriots to allow them to get their franchise quarterback. I don't think there is a number you could give me that would make me feel okay with that.
One of my friends, the Giants fan, saying, watch, Belichick's going to pull some voodoo and go to number 1 and take Trevor. I'm like, stop it. Stop it.
Could you
I'm not watching
imagine?
that for 20 years. I'm not
Dude,
watching
what?
that for 20 years. I was like,
What
in
is
mind.
Jack? Oh,
I'm
I would
23. I'm not watching that again.
I'd be so mad. I don't. What would Jacksonville do? What would be their game plan if they traded out of one? Like, they would have to get such a massive haul of picks that
Their
like
entire draft class for the next 3 years.
yeah, it would be bananas. I don't think the Patriots are trading up very far. If they trade up, I'm gonna say they'll come up as far as maybe. God, I don't even know. I can't see them trading up with anyone. No, there's no one on this list. Like if the Texans were
Atlanta
sitting
or
there.
Cincinnati, I can see it. I can see maybe Atlanta or Cincinnati. But then Cincinnati will lose out on Penny Sewell, to be honest.
Yeah, if Penny Sewell's gone,
with all the stuff. No, sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I think if Penny Sewell's gone, I think that you could see one of those two teams trade out. But go ahead, you got 25 seconds.
Nah, I was gonna ask though about the Watson thing though. You know how everyone was saying we're trading away 3 first-rounders, 3 second-rounders, Quinn Williams and all that. You
Sure.
think get a chance of maybe 23, a first, both Seattle picks, and maybe Ashton Davis?
It has to be the
someone
second
agreed with
pick.
that on Twitter, and I can see that happening.
I don't think you get Watson without the number 2 pick. I think that's the important piece of the entire puzzle, and I think they're willing to let him sit out for not getting the number 2 overall pick. But I do think that it is an interesting conversation. I do think that I would still trade for Watson, even if he's got to sit an entire year. I would trade for him. I think you're getting a 26-year-old quarterback, franchise quarterback. So I'd be pretty happy with that. Brother, thank you so much for calling into the cockpit. I'm just going to get to a super chatted question real quick, and then I will throw you on the line here. RJ McPott says, GM Ryan, riddle me this. Solve our kicker situation. I would like to... in all my mock drafts I've been doing, I have been drafting a kicker in like the 6th or 7th round. But I think the way to go is to sign a free agent kicker who has proven history in the NFL. And maybe he just had a down year. That's kind of where I would like to go with the kicker situation. Again, I think you could bring in 2 guys into camp and just let them duke it out. I think it's a high priority, but I don't think it's a right now priority per se. Brother, thank you so much for calling into the cockpit. What is on your mind?
Hey Ryan, how you doing tonight?
I am doing just fine. I'm feeling good about free agency. I'm feeling good about our Jets' future. How would you feel about, or how do you feel about our current free agent haul?
Well, I've been a Jets fan for a long time. I'm originally from the Bronx, so I've been watching the Jets for an extremely long time. So I feel really good about our free agents that we got. I think there's quite a few sleeper guys that we got. And, I think Corey Davis is going to pay dividends for us, and Sheldon Rankin as well. But I wanted to touch on what the previous caller said. I have a conspiracy theory for you. I think that New England is going to... Yeah, so I think New England is going to do one of 2 things. I think you're right. I think they might trade up and go for Mac Jones, or to sign Cam Newton for 1 year and to also bring in Trey Lance to be the predecessor of Cam Newton.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think Trey Lance could learn a lot. I think Lance could learn a lot from Cam Newton. I don't know how Cam feels about being... Yeah, I don't know how Cam feels about being a mentor, because I feel like he's still young enough where I think he feels like he should be a starter, but I think for the money he got, I think he got $14 million. I could be wrong. I think that does say, like, hey, we want you to compete for the starting job. Like, if we don't get a quarterback, you are the starter. But there's a shot we're getting a quarterback at number 15. We're trading up and getting a quarterback, and then you two are going to compete. And I think Lance fits what Cam does.
Right. But the fact that he only signed a 1-year deal is what really got me thinking about that. Because Belichick is actually going to he built through free agency, but everyone knows that it starts with the quarterback, right? So he's trying to basically get his quarterback for the future. So, like I said, it could be either Mac Jones or it could possibly be Trey Lance. And I really do think that they may lean towards Trey Lance because of his mobility. because Mac Jones doesn't have as much mobility as Trey Lance does.
Well, that's just it. Like the whole Mac Jones thing is purely stemming from me thinking like, oh, I can just see a statue of a quarterback standing back there behind that Patriot offensive line. When in reality, Belichick is really good at adapting his team to the NFL's rules. And the NFL's rules are dictating that you should really have a quarterback that's mobile. And Trey Lance definitely fits the bill closer to what Cam Newton is than Mac Jones. Like, I don't see Mac Jones being like in the same offense as Cam Newton. It just doesn't feel like that makes sense.
I agree. And why would he go out and after having Tom Brady for so many years, why would he go out and get a mobile quarterback for last year and re-sign him this year? Because I was very surprised that they brought Cam back for another year. But I think that they're bringing him back to groom another young quarterback coming in.
Yeah, it feels to me like they should go the young quarterback route. And then you can roll with Cam this year. You don't necessarily have to start the rookie. It gives you an opportunity to kind of groom him and then figure out what to do. I know Belichick's trying to go for the most wins all time by a head coach, and I think he needs like 10 wins a year for, I think, the next 4 years. And that's a lot to ask for a rookie, but it's also a lot to think that Cam Newton is going to sustain you for the next 4 years when you have the Bills looking the way they're looking, and you have the Dolphins looking like they're on the come up.
Especially since, Cam, has had the injuries and, different things like that. So I think that's why he paced him a 1-year deal last year and paced him a 1-year deal this year.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. Do you think that, I guess I got 30 seconds with you. Who was your favorite free agent signing, and what would you grade our free agent class overall?
So my favorite free agent signing actually was the Corey Davis signing. Because I feel like we've missed out so much on ever since the Sanchez days, we've missed out so much on having that wide receiver that can go up and get it, especially in the red zone. So I
love it. You have been ejected from the cockpit. I like what he was saying at the end there. I'm a big fan of that. Makes a lot of sense. 5011 says, get out from under the dryer. We can't hear you, Ryan. Turn up your audio, video equipment. You say AV is on point.
Call from
Broadway.
What's good, brother? How you doing tonight? Welcome to the cockpit.
Pause, Ryan.
I am. Have you been calling nonstop? Is that what? Go for it.
Come again?
No, sorry. I thought you were saying you couldn't get on, but no. Go on.
No. I would say that I'm a fan of the show. Anyone that is a Jet fan, we know what it is to pain and suffer. But let me ask you something, because I haven't heard anyone mention this name in the draft so far. Maybe I've missed it. What about quarterback Trey Lance?
I really like Trey Lance. Before the season, I had him as my number 2 overall quarterback behind Trevor Lawrence. And then they didn't have a season, and they wound up playing a showcase game for Lance where he threw his first interception. He really didn't have a good throwing game. He had, I think he had a lot of yards on the ground, if I'm not mistaken. I think he had over 100 yards. From an upside perspective, Lance is a really exciting prospect. It would not shock me if Lance is the best quarterback when it's all said and done from this draft class. It's just that there's a lot of volatility with trying to take a quarterback who's only played in 17 games, just like Mark Sanchez, just like Dwayne Haskins. Could he be a Cam Newton, play in one season and do that well? It's possible. Could he be like Kyler Murray, play in one season and do as well as he's doing? It's possible. But I think there is an inherent risk there. And I think that's probably why he's not talked about quite as highly as some of the other quarterbacks, like a Fields, like a Wilson, like a Trevor. But I do think the talent level is completely on par. I think he's just as good as any one of these other quarterbacks. He's got the arm, he's got the speed, he's got the strength to shake guys off of tackles. I like Trey Lance a lot.
you know what? I watched his pro workout, and I thought he really looked like Superman in shorts and tank top. He really looks like a kid that just needs some seasoning, and I don't hear anyone talking about him. I'm thinking, well, maybe this is the kid that we're possibly missing, okay? Because we're watching, I watched Justin Fields a couple of games, and, you know, the thing with a quarterback to me is that it's not you see the guy that's open, after he gets open, you make the pass. That's what he looks like to me. Zach, I don't know. I don't know with Zach. Has Zach, you know, done a whole lot with major competition? You know, is there something with this kid that we're possibly missing? You know, by as far as we're talking up all these other guys, maybe Bargain Basement Joe is actually looking to go and get someone like that, where he can trade back, get more picks, and have his quarterback for the future, because he doesn't seem to like the quick fix. And thinking we really haven't heard our names, or not that I trust these insiders, because I don't trust these insiders at all, but we really haven't heard for anything definite that Joe was, you know, the Jets have called and spoke with Seattle. The Jets have called and spoke with Texas. You understand what I'm saying? He seems like the kind of guy that he'd rather totally build his team with nothing but picks, and a guy like that maybe is someone that they're looking for.
So my biggest issue with trading down and taking someone like Trey Lance, or any quarterback for that matter, is you have to be playing some 4D chess, and you have to be willing to risk your career on it. Because if you trade down and Zach Wilson is a franchise quarterback, and you get Trey Lance or Justin Fields, or maybe the fourth quarterback because Miami decides to trade out and give a quarterback to someone else, now all of a sudden you are putting yourself in a world of hurt. But I do understand the sex appeal of wanting to trade down, getting the first round pick next year. Because if you trade down to 4, if they will give you a first round pick next year, now all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, we get 3 first round picks next year. We have the opportunity to take a quarterback. Maybe you use that quarterback as a trade asset if Watson becomes available. Or maybe you just really like Trey Lance. I don't know. I just think if you want to take the quarterback, and if Trey Lance is your guy, take him at 2. I have no problem with you taking him at 2 if that's the one you want. I don't like the idea of trading down and trying to get the quarterback you want. It feels like you're playing with fire.
Okay, and that's the reason why with all of these quarterbacks that we've never seen a time where we've seen so many quarterback options, I wouldn't put myself in a place where I'm going to spend my future on someone with no you understand what I'm saying, versus someone who's already in the game. But anyway, good night, sir.
I completely understand. Brother, thank you so much for the call. Boom! You've been ejected from the cockpit. 12 Cut Pizza seems a little upset. You're another typical delusional Jets fan. Bite me, just like your 12 Cut Pizza. Oh, who we got?
Call from
Antonio.
Antonio, what's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, I'm hanging in
What's
there. How
going
you
on?
feeling about free agency?
I feel like we did pretty good. I give us like a B. I really like the Carl Lawson signing that we did.
That's an exciting signing. It really, this guy's going to come screaming off the edge.
Yeah. I had a specific question. Do you
Sure.
think if Sam Darnold was drafted by the Bills, do you think he'd be like a top 10 quarterback, or let's say the Browns?
I'll say this. I think the Bills have put Allen in a far better situation than the Jets have had. I think Sam Darnold has gotten the rawest of deals compared to the other quarterbacks in that draft, maybe outside of Josh Rosen. But I think that Sam Darnold would have shown more in Buffalo than he has shown with the Jets right now. Now, if Josh Allen was with the Jets, I think we'd probably be seeing an entirely different Josh Allen. So much about quarterbacks is where they're drafted and the support that they're given by the franchise. So is Sam Darnold a top 10 quarterback? I don't know, but I think he's definitely better than 32 for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, what would you say your least favorite free agency signing is?
I would probably go Gerard Davis. I don't know. I just don't see a lot in him. I don't think he's really that.
I think he's not an exciting name maybe to hear.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, is there someone that you think we should have gone out to get in free agency that we didn't?
I was thinking of Juju, but then it's just like, nah. Like, I think he wanted, like, a lot of money. Didn't he want, like, a lot of money instead of Crowder? So I thought it was a good decision to just stick with Crowder instead of Juju.
Yeah. I think what happened was, like, if you could take it in a vacuum and you could say, oh, the Jets could have had Juju at $8 million, which was never going to be the case, then, yeah, you sign Juju, you cut Crowder, you save $2 million, and you get younger at the position by 3 years. Like, that would have been okay with me. But I think he was probably looking for, like, 12, 13, 14 million. And the Jets and every other team were like, we're not giving it to you. Like, look at the other free agent wide receivers. Like, they're not getting it. The franchise tag players with Robinson and Galladay, there's a reason why they signed their franchise tags so quickly. And I'm actually shocked Galladay got 18. I thought he was going to wind up getting somewhere between 14, 15, 16 million dollars. So Juju getting 8, I think that's purely because Ben's coming back. It might be his last year, and then he'll try to hit free agency when the cap goes up next year. Maybe he has a better season to be able to make a little bit more cheddar.
I had like a crazy scenario. So what if we traded for Watson, and then so we would have to trade that number 2 pick, right? So like we trade for Watson, and then the Texans get 2, and then what if the Jags, for some stupid reason, like draft Wilson or like Fields at 1, and then the Texans get Lawrence? Like, that'd be crazy.
It would be absolutely wild, and I don't know if I see the Jets pulling the trigger on a trade unless they feel like they're winning the Watson deal. Like, I would still trade if Lawrence fell to us at 2. And the Texans were like, hey, we'll trade you Watson for Lawrence. And like, I just would not, I don't know if I would give up the number 2 pick until I know who's on the board at number 2 if you love Lawrence. But I'm still taking Watson over any quarterback in this draft or any other draft for that matter, because you're still getting a lottery ticket with the draft pick, and I'll take the proven top 3 quarterback at 25 years old who wants to be here. Like, that to me, would it suck if we traded early and Lawrence fell? Yeah, it would be a little sour, I think, but I think it's still the right move, and I would make the move knowing Lawrence is at 2, even if even if Watson were to get suspended. Like, say Watson gets suspended for a year, because none of this is a criminal case right now. The league could opt to suspend him if he's found, like, I don't know if it's found guilty or however it works, because it sounds like it's probably going to be a lot of he said, she said. But if he was suspended for a year, you still get a 26-year-old franchise quarterback, for probably a lot less than you would have gotten him had this not come out. But I think, for me, I don't think Watson's happening anymore. I think Douglas likes the personality trait, and I think this is probably a little dicey for him, even though he is a great player. Brother, thank you so much for calling in. You have been fantastic tonight, boys and girls. This has really been a fun stream. You guys have had a lot of really, really good questions, and I'm looking forward to what tomorrow's stream could potentially bring with me, O'Leary, Green Bean, and Jimmy. Bye, Jets. Jets by Jimmy. Jets by Jimmy. That's the name. I'm screwing this whole thing up. John Nolte says Deshaun Watson wants 20% off Manscaped discount code. The masseuses say he needs a mowing. That's nasty. You shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff. But boys and girls, it's been a lot of fun. I will be back here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock with Green Bean, O'Leary, and Jimmy. We're going to be talking all the Jets free agent signings. We're going to be talking about the good, the bad, the ugly. We want to hear from you guys tomorrow. It's been fun. Guys, my name is Ryan. I've been your pilot tonight. I'm signing off. Jets.